It was only lunchtime by the time we'd reached the Venibus campsite, so we still had half a day. So we decided to take our gear and climb up to Frenchman's Cap to camp. We knew it was a grueling climb, so we set our minds to it, and boy oh boy, it did not disappoint in terms of the pain that we experienced in our legs going up, especially as we got towards the 1200 metre mark. However, our efforts were well rewarded as we climbed up quickly and gained altitude quickly, and before we knew it, we're up in the Alpine region, which presented us with a whole range of beautiful flowers that we'd seen often enough before, but in this environment really topped it off for us.
Yeah, good stuff, good work.
Walking in the alpine environment is a bushwalker's delight, and soon enough we're able to see our destination. Frenchman's Cap loomed large. I'd never seen it from this angle before, even though 30 odd years before I'd been up here, but without any sunshine and blue skies. We had gained quite a bit of altitude once we saw Lake Nancy, but unfortunately we had to go down again twice. Once to past Lake Gwendolyn, and the second time to our North Col to reach the track, the official track that takes you up to the Frenchman's Cap itself. Between our strained efforts, I continued to admire the beautiful alpine plants that seemed to change the higher we got. The last section was really slow, but we were confronted with a albino Hawadia which I hadn't seen in over 20 years. We were so pleased to get finally on top. We found a barrier of rocks where we pitched our tent. The views were absolutely amazing, as you can see. 360 views as far as you could see. The west coast, Macquarie Harbour, the southwest, the lot. We had about 3.5 hours to wait for the sunset, just sitting on top of the mountain, looking at various angles, beautiful plants, and the sun rays started to set low towards the west. Shadows were lengthening, as you can see here, as the outline of Frenchman's Cap set into the sunset. Our tired legs and our spent efforts were all forgotten once we saw this. This is what we came up for. Just before we went to bed, I set my GoPro on a night lapse setting. While we didn't witness this per se, it was still pretty good to see in the morning when we woke up to be surprised by an aurora. The next morning we were presented with more cloud cover than we had anticipated or hoped for, but Mother Nature put on a real light show for us instead. Once the morning cloud moved away, we had a closer look at the face of Frenchmans. Absolutely amazing, and here we are witnessing it in perfect conditions. We were so lucky. all good things come to an end, and we did have a river to raft down for another 8 or so days. So we made our way down. While easier on some muscles, it certainly gives your legs and knees a bit of a test, which we weren't looking forward to. But there were plenty of distractions going down. Plenty of flowers here. There's some mountain rockets, pandanus. As we made the steep way back down, we passed the little tarn where we filled up with water. It was very dry, but we were lucky to find it. More classical alpine flowers to get distracted by. There's Lake Tahuni down there. Different flowers at different altitudes as we made our way back down. A butterfly iris and some beautiful Christmas bells before we made our way back to the river. This recording of our track along the river initially up in the Nuenabus and up the ridge depicts and illustrates really well the enormity of the task and how high and how beautiful Frenchman's Cap actually is. What makes it a real icon amongst bushwalkers. After lunch we were back on the river, past Frenchman Crossing. Similar sorts of things we'd seen before, waterfalls, pools, little rapids. It was easy going in the afternoon, beautiful pools, more tributaries to explore before we finally made our way to another beautiful campsite perched up in the river on a big wide bend. Here we found what I termed as a rock gallery. Beautiful pools, pebbles, all sorts of things that we sat around amazed by. A great place to spend a nice afternoon looking at Mr. Spider. Then sitting idly by the flowing river waiting for dusk to occur and the sunset to come and being entertained by these fish.